while there is a 3% increase from an overall taxation point of view, so far we have not really seen any customer coming back on that 3%, largely because I think the customers look at insurance as serving a much larger purpose, and therefore this 3% so far has not had any major negative impact as far as the consumer is concerned. As far as the changes in taxation and its impact on GST other than on the consumer, there is another large area there where we are expecting to see some impact. What many people may not know is that actually general insurance companies are also large consumers of goods. If you look at the operations of a general insurance company, one of its largest operations is management of claims, and especially in the case of motor vehicles, in management of claims, insurance companies end up buying a very large number of auto parts which are used for repairs of vehicles in claims. Unfortunately, the GST on auto spares has gone up substantially to 28%, and that in my belief is fairly exorbitant and probably an area that needs to be looked into because auto components will now come at a much higher price than what they were coming earlier on. As far as the implementation of GST is concerned, as a company which is from a Liberty Videocon general insurance point of view, we are fully compliant and we have made the requisite changes in our systems to ensure that GST is introduced and is actually prevalent in all the transactions that we do participate in. I think the challenge is going to be in making sure that the entire ecosystem around us, which is all our suppliers, all our vendors and all our intermediaries, are also included within the ambit of GST. Because in my belief, the benefit of GST will only accrue to the nation and will only accrue to the consumer if the entire ecosystem is compliant as far as GST is concerned. See, it is very complicated because we will have to cajole them and we will have to work with them to make sure that they are registered for GST and that the GST which is being paid and charged is actually being transmitted to the government so that it is being accounted for in the GSTN. So it is a fairly laborious task, and in this case we will be using our entire field force which is out there in the various branches and in the various cities where we operate, and the field force which works with these intermediaries to work with them to make sure that over a period of time they do register within GST and they do become compliant as far as GSTN is concerned. So it is a laborious task. I think we'll have to attack it one by one. We'll have to basically work with each and every partner that we work with, and it's going to be a time consuming process. But I'm pretty confident that over a period of time, and in my belief, over a period of time would be in 6 to 8 months is when we do believe that we will be in some form of proximity to almost 100% compliance. See, if you look at it in terms of an immediate impact, there is possibly going to be an increase in our claims cost, largely on account of what I said earlier, which is increase in the GST on auto spare parts to 28%. And unless and until the auto garages also fall in line and are fully compliant and are registered and are filing the GST returns as required by the authorities, till that time, the set-offs will not be available to the general insurance industry, and for that period, there is possibly going to be an additional cost to the insurance companies from a claims point of view. I think in terms of where we see some probable areas of improvement, I think one is the fact that there are multiple rates of GST. I think that is to an extent confusing, and I think there is a very strong case to have basically just two rates, one for pretty much everything, and the other for what we call the sin goods. and I think that would probably make life much easier and simpler from a implementation point of view. I think the good part is that the exemptions are going to be less. The other advantage that I see from a GST point of view is the fact that GST actually can be used to in some form or manner to set off income tax, right? Because while income tax is only being paid by very few people in the country, GST is actually applicable on consumption across the country. See, I think one is maybe it's not right to compare India with the other countries simply because we are a very different country and our objectives and our requirements are very different. So if I was to look at insurance specifically, in our country we find that the penetration of insurance is probably one of the lowest, as compared to even the Asian countries. Leave alone the more developed Western countries. So therefore, GST actually could be used as a tool to help increase penetration. And by dropping the GST rates on those and by making sure that the companies pass on that benefit to the consumer, I think there is a case for the industry to look at better penetration. So I believe that there is a very strong tool available to the government now to help increase the penetration of products and services which are going to be beneficial for the ultimate consumer. And GST can be used as a tool for that. In many countries in the West, this has happened and has had positive results, and I'm sure it will have positive results in India too.